So it was this black woman who messaged me, and she said, to be completely honest, I listened to your message, and she was like, for me, I feel as though I'm single because I can't find the perfect man, right? She was like, the men who satisfy me sexually, they don't have nothing going on with their lives. And then the men who I run into who could actually be great providers and have ambition, they don't satisfy me sexually.
This is why a lot of people, a lot of men that the internet don't like to listen to, they advocate towards women not having sex with anybody or trying to stay as close as purity or virginity as possible. Once you open the door to sexual interactions, you got to realize you add another preference to your cage and to your list, and it gets to a certain point where you're always going to compare. It doesn't matter what they do, you're always going to compare, and many times you're not ever satisfied. And that just leads you to always compare every single guy that you get. A good guy, he may not have the same, I apologize for this, strokes that another bad guy may have, or the bad guy may have the great strokes, but he doesn't have the respect or whatever. This is why a lot of people say you should abstain from sex. Christianity says it, or whatever religion says it, and that's why, because you add another obstacle to get to. And then even while you're in the relationship, you're not okay with what's happening.
She's like, I just want a man that can satisfy me sexually, can provide, has ambition, and all these other things, right? But this is just another prime example as to why sexual liberation has caused a lot of modern women to not be married. Because what winds up happening is, again, when you are having sex with multiple men, these spirits are entering you, right? And before you know it, every man that you run into that could be a potential husband, you are now comparing him to the next man sexually.
A lot of people do say, basically, when you have sex with anybody, when they have sex with multiple people, you do gather these spirits, these things, or these entities, because everybody's carrying something. Some people say that you are literally transferring trauma or spirits towards you, because sex technically is something that's very intimate, beyond the body. But yeah, the more partners you have, the more comparison that you do. And this is why you have to be careful of having so much partners. And nowadays, they're telling women to have as much sex as you want, be like men and everything such. Women are not like men, especially sexually. Most women hold on to more so the individuals that they have sex with when they have sex. Men usually don't. A man can have sex with multiple women and not gain any emotional connection with them. But a woman can do that only after having a certain amount of partners. It's kind of like you're numbing that attachment that you yourself has been God-given to have once you have sex with somebody. So the more partners you have, the less attachment you have towards the person that you more so get with. For most men out there, if you think about the person that you lost your virginity with, if it was voluntary and it was consensual, in many cases, you found a connection with that person. While most men, when they lost their virginity, many of them didn't have that connection with the woman that they lost their virginity with. It was just something that just happened, unless it continued to happen. That's the biggest difference. A woman that continuously have multiple partners, she's numbing herself. She's literally not giving off that hormone that adds that connection that she needs to further her likeliness in staying in the relationship. The same when it comes to a man though. A man, the more sex he has with a particular individual or woman, that's when he starts to gain that attachment with that one person. Because now he has relied on that one person for that connection. And now it's a full force understanding that you are the source of this one need.
Comparing him to the next man for other needs that you feel as though you need in a relationship. And it's not healthy. And the reason why it's not healthy is because you are never going to be satisfied. Like never, no man will ever be able to satisfy you. And the sexual piece is a big one, because there are a lot of women who was with men because they could sexually please them, but then they wind up being baby moms, they wind up not being wives, and now they're angry and bitter because they wanted to have a good time instead of a long time.
A lot of women don't realize men will stick, let me not say that. Men are very open to having sex with many women. And a lot of women will think, I have options, and they'll go out there and men will have sex with you, but that's not your option. That's not your option. He doesn't want to take you serious. All he wants you for is the hole that's between your legs or the hole that's on your face. Other than that, he'll use you. And many women go out, just like she said, go out being bitter, thinking that, oh, all men are nothing, all men are this. It's just you're choosing, once again, you're choosing the men that you decide to entertain. If you actually stop and think about it, women choose the men they entertain. It's not the men that approach you. You choose the man that you choose to entertain. So the men that you are actually dating, you're choosing to date them. That's the key. Unless, even more so you're still choosing, unless you actually approach men, which many women don't do. But it gives you a better turnout if you approach a man rather than waiting for the men to approach you. You get a choice. You get a choice in the true matter.
The man that you need to be with, that's the long time man, maybe his sex game isn't as great as you would have liked it, but who cares? But the only reason why you're even able to compare the difference is because that is a tall tale sign that you have had way too many penises in you. Because if you hadn't, you wouldn't even be playing the compare game, right? This man would be able to sexually satisfy you because, with the exception of maybe a few other men, you wouldn't really have much to compare it to. But when you
that's exactly it. The less partners you have, that's all you know. Sometimes knowledge and experience can be a curse. You can be comparing like crazy because you had too many partners. And now you always are unsatisfied because you're always flashing back to Tim or Tony or Kevin or whoever the freak that you dealt with. This is why you're not supposed to know everything. You're not supposed to experience everything. There are some things in this world that you're just not supposed to experience or understand. Some things that you need to take a step back and say, okay, I don't need to touch this. Because once I know this, knowledge can be a curse as well as a blessing. Experience can be a curse as well as a blessing. You have to be careful of what you continue to search for or look for more so in experience. It can really mess up your life because you may not be ready for that experience, for that knowledge that you have in your head now.
A long roster as a woman of sexual counterparts, all it does is mess your mind up. All it does is keep you unmarried. And all it does is have you comparing men left and right. And what winds up happening is you get old and you don't have a man. You're alone. And that's just the reality of it. Sexual liberation, I need modern women to realize that sexual liberation is not to help you. Sexual liberation is to keep you single and miserable and alone without a man for the rest of your life.
And realize who actually benefits from sexual liberation. Men. The men that just want to have sex with you. Think about it. If men are actually trying to convince you that sexual liberation is a bad thing, aren't they missing out? Because truth be told, if I tell a woman that's a close friend, nah, you should be sexually liberated. Yeah, you should have sex with whoever you want. Yeah, hey, let's go. Let's shoot right now. It's not stopping us from doing something because nobody, do what you want. What makes you feel good, and I can make you feel good. That's some bullshit. Who's benefited from it? People are telling you to close your legs while you're saying, no, I just need to be liberated and open my legs whenever I want. That makes no sense. We're trying to help you. The more you open your legs, the more you feel used. The more you feel used, the more you actually feel down about yourself. And the more you feel down about yourself is the more you open your legs. Continuous cycle. You're just going to keep going and keep going. And then when a man does come into your life and actually treat you the right way, you'll be comparing his sex game compared to the other people's sex game. So now you had sex with 10 different, and this one individual, now you're comparing this one individual to all 10. Well, nah, James stroked this way. Tom flipped me upside down. Jim was able to hold me up. While this guy, he's just comfortable doing missionary. And you're like, nah, but Jackson was able to go inside, go through the back door. While this guy's like, man, I don't want to do the back door. I'm good. Your experiences now has fucked up your experience with your man. You don't understand that he just wants to enjoy you the way you are, while you had so much sexual liberated sex that now you're like, nah, I need to have all that kinky sex. And he needs to fulfill that. Nah, you open that door by yourself, and now you expect this man to fulfill all those holes, all those situations that you open the door to. That's not fair to him. And now you comparing him to all 10 of those guys, or all 15, or all 50, or whatever. Nowadays, all 100 of those guys. That's not fair to him. And then all that leads you to is singlehood. Singlehood, continuously getting banged until you're like 60, and then all of a sudden you're invisible. Not most men aren't really looking at you. If anything, you're looking at a younger man now, and all he using you for is waiting for you to die and he can inherit your home or your car or whatever, or he can have a place to sleep. You got to realize, a lot of women have to realize, just because you keep having sex with all these people, it's not going to lead you anywhere. It's actually going to take a lot away from you. I even had a client tend to say, she literally said she got into a relationship, and the new boyfriend, she loved him, but she would have sex with him, and then right after sex, she would get on her phone and just start texting, and it bothered him. He was like, hey, there's no connection after sex. And she didn't even realize that, because she was used to having sex with multiple people, and then it wasn't a real connection. You can easily just go about your day, just start texting or just looking at something else. And it bothered him. And she had to open up, and he asked, what was basically your count, your body count? And she had to open up about that. It bothered her, but because she loved him, she had to really confess the body count. But they're still together, they work things out. But she didn't realize that sexual liberation shit, it literally could have took her out of her relationship. And now she's working on building that connection, because for her, sex was no longer a connective action. It was just something to just do. Sex is more important than most people realize. You connect through sex many times. But I hope women out there really listen, man. Do not just have sex with Joe Blow and everybody and think that later on it won't affect you. I know it might not seem fair that men can have sex with multiple women and women can't do that, or they should be able to do that. But life isn't fair. That's just the truth about it. Nothing in life is fair. And you gotta accept that. Once you accept that everything is not fair, and whoever you are, that's what you represent, that's what you need to do. You need to stay in your own lane, and this person stay in their own lane. You'll soon realize life can be great, but it's not fair all the time. And that's okay. Well, thank you for watching the video.